back again for another episode of Dominant Effect. I'm Archbishop. We got Aaron Olinger and Mike Ball. Pleasure to see everybody joining in today. Hopefully, we can get this show going and get everybody enlightened to what's going on right now. Said it seems like every couple hours is something different that's going on. So we're trying to keep up with this stuff as much as possible. But being the fact that it is going on as much as it's going, trying to seem like every time we get one thing together, then something else happens. Then we got to go back and kind of add in and take away from this, and okay, which one is more important, and bounce around. So, so we're gonna kind of jump into there. So before we go, everybody hit that like button. That way we can get everybody on the proper algorithm. We can get this show out to as many peaceful people as possible. And so for the ones that may be just now tuning in for the first time, welcome to the Dominant Effect podcast, where we don't follow the narrative, we follow evidence. And our goal is not to tell you what to think. Our goal is to examine the facts, follow the evidence, let you decide where you're going to go with it. So over the past year, the Middle East has been known for some of the most volatile things that went on in the world. Israel, of course, had his fault. Hamas in Gaza. You got to exchange fire with Hezbollah along with Northern Border, and carried out operations targeting Iran-linked interests throughout that region. Now, Iran has continued to expand its regional influence through allied groups and defending its nuclear program as being, quote, quote, peaceful. But the U.S. has found itself balanced in support of Israel, protecting its own forces in the region and trying to prevent the conflict from expanding to a more broader war. Against that backdrop, today's meeting between President Trump and Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has drawn worldwide attention. Publicly, both sides emphasize cooperation and regional security, diplomacy with Iran, the future of Gaza, and a broader Middle East stability where all parties involved would have some form of stability. But at the same time, analysis continue to debate whether the U.S. and Israel are fully allied on how to deal with Iran's nuclear ambitions, along with the long-term strategy in this region. And being the fact that even though missiles have been flying and then stop and fly again, it's really unstable. And it's hard to tell exactly what direction this is going into. History has shown us that a lot of these major conflicts are shaped long before a missile was even launched. They're shaped through these meetings, negotiations, intelligence briefings, and strategic decisions that rarely make the evening news. And that's why tonight we're not just asking what happened at the White House. We're asking what could happen. Could this meeting mark the beginning of a new diplomatic chapter, or are we simply witnessing a pause before another round of confrontation? So we're going to follow the evidence and see where it goes. So today, as I said previously, President Trump welcomed Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to the White House, and it was more of a routine diplomatic meeting. Both leaders entered the room carrying enormous political and economic pressure, and the discussions would not only affect Israel and the United States, but also Iran and a lot of the neighboring Arab nations in that Gulf states, Europe, and the global economy as a whole, because everybody's suffering right now due to the closing of the strait. And to understand why this meeting matters, it's important to recognize the position that each leader is in. So for Israel, security means top priority to them. And since October 7th, 23, when Hamas attacked the country, it's been engaged in military operations across multiple fronts. While much of the world attention was focused on Gaza, a lot of the Israeli leaders continue to view Iran as a long-standing, uh, how can you say, thorn in their side. That's been for a long time. And Israel believes that Iran's financial and military support for groups such as Hamas and Hezbollah and other militias have increasingly caused instability throughout that region, which made it a lot harder to be able to negotiate with these other Gulf states because of the way Iran had it set up. They pretty much had their fingerprint in that whole region that they can be able to shut stuff down at will. Um, Now, on the U.S. side, the U.S. approaches this situation with a much broader perspective, I think, because America remains Israel's closest ally, but it's also has military personnel stations throughout the Middle East, strategic partnerships with several of the Arab countries, and the responsibility to protect international shipping in those routes in the Strait of Hormuz that carries a lot of the world's energy supply, not just oil, but you got helium, you got fertilizer, and there's several other things uh, that's not being able to be taken out of there because of the actual shutdown of the strait. So every military decision has to be able to have the potential to affect American troops. We've seen over the past couple of days how these numbers fluctuated quite a bit. Um, I think at one point it was we had 18 that was unalived. It went from 18 to 14, went back to 18, and then the injured went from 400. What was they said it was 500. Now they're saying that it's well over 600. So these numbers will fluctuate a lot, meaning that our men and women that's over there right now they're getting hit. I mean, people getting injured, people becoming unalive, and nobody's even have boots on the ground. They're just sitting on these bases. So it's not like they're actually doing um, actual military front to where they're actual boots on the ground. They're getting hit by these drone strikes left and right. Um, so this is why today's meeting became so significant because although these leaders express confidence publicly, meetings like this also involve a lot of difficult conversations behind closed doors. And you know, a lot of these meetings, a lot of decisions that's made, it's made behind closed doors in these secret meetings. Um, Topics likely included Iran's nuclear program, intelligence sharing, regional security, the actual future of Gaza, and how this negotiation with Iran, whether it's going to go through, it's going to fall, are we going to bomb? What's going on? I mean, because there's a lot of stuff that's going on there. And one of the biggest concerns um, that Israel has been talking about for the longest has been Iran's uranium enrichment program. And that's naturally been the occurring conversation that's been going on since the ending of the JCPOA. They've been talking about this because in its natural form, it cannot be used for fuel and most nuclear reactors, nuclear weapons, stuff like that, as they had before, where they was only allowed to enrich 3% to be able to use for like nuclear power, stuff like that. But once that JCPOA was null and void, they were able to start enriching. I mean, and that's the big thing that we have going on now, because you don't know how much they've actually enriched it to. Some said 60 at the beginning of this. They were saying that we were just weeks away from them enriching up to 90% to be able to use for an actual nuclear weapon. But like I said, that's neither here nor there. None of that has actually been proven. Um, but what is proven is that yes, they do have it. You just don't know what their capabilities are. I mean, so um, there's a lot that's going on within those talks, and now you have a lot of people, different skeptics, different people is talking because you also have that bill that just passed in Section 224, which ended up going into the NDAA. Actually, went from 224 to 219. That actually unified Israel and the U.S. dealing with a lot of um, their sharing, quote, quote,
Intelligence
of
sharing. Yeah.
intelligence, right? And then, of course, you have Netanyahu, who said that they were going to start downsizing how much aid they were getting from the U.S. within the next 10 years. So, my question with that is, are you downsizing because you don't need it, or are you downsizing it because of what you just got out this bill? You don't actually need this. You know what I mean? So, you kind of go both ways with that. But I'm gonna turn this over to you, Mike. What do you think about this?
Well, so a little bit about what this face-to-face meeting is about. I think the key takeaways from the whole thing is, you know, let's start with a simple question: why is this meeting different from all the others? And the key point that I figured out on this was the first face-to-face meeting between Trump and Netanyahu since tensions emerged over how to handle the Iran conflict. Now that's being reported by Axios, by the way. And then they also report both leaders publicly emphasized the same strategic objective, preventing Iran from obtaining a nuclear weapon, like AB was just talking about. And publicly, both sides described the meeting as positive, despite earlier reports of disagreements. Now, this is the crossroads that we're talking about. So there are essentially three paths being discussed right now. We've got number one, diplomacy, right? Continue indirect negotiations, try to reach a new agreement, and avoid another major military campaign. Trump has recently said negotiations are continuing, but also warned military action remains an option if diplomacy fails, right? It's never off the table. Then we have number two, which is maximum pressure, which means continued sanctions, economic pressure, naval pressure, diplomatic isolation, without immediately expanding the war. Israeli officials indicated economic and diplomatic pressure remained a central part of discussions, Reuters is saying. Then number three of this is military escalation, right? Um, military military operations remain on the table and were discussed, but there has been no public announcement of a decision to launch a new major offensive, coming out from Reuters, by the way. And why should Americans care? This is the question that AB was proposing earlier as well. I mean, look at oil prices. All the shipping through the Strait of Hormuz does, in turn, actually affect us in some sort of fashion. Then we have inflation, U.S. military commitments, and regional stabilities, and global markets, of course. So, anyways, when it comes to this whole thing, I think that's what makes this meeting a little bit different. But unfortunately, like you were saying behind the before the show started, AB, is there's not a lot of details that have emerged from that meeting. So, but that's what I've got on that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, I want to touch a little bit on something that both of you said. You were dealing with how it's going to affect us. Well, we're definitely going to see higher prices at the pump. Oil is in the 90 range somewhere right now. So, and then we're getting low. I don't know if I heard a rumor today that our reserve was down to one more week, and China has 2 weeks left on theirs, but I couldn't verify if that was true or not. Two, the Dow was down. The Dow Jones Industrial was down today, 1,153 points. Now, every 800 points the Dow goes down, that's $1 trillion that has been lost in the markets. Any company that's taking hits is going to have to cut employees. The S&P was down today, 112.68 in points. Gold is right about 4,058. Silver's at 58.74. We were in negotiations for a ceasefire. I was under the impression we were in a ceasefire, but the IRGC came out of the meeting and said nothing of substance was decided upon, even though our negotiating team thought we had a ceasefire, and Iran did a surprise attack on everybody. They hit different countries and hit our military bases in the GCC, the Gulf Coast countries. They attacked Israel. Uh, it looked to me today like we was in all-out war. I mean, Saudi Arabia and the United States did a joint air attack on Iranian proxies in Iraq, which is PMJ, Hezbollah, and Islamic Jihad. That's three of the militias that are trained, equipped, and funded by Iran. That's taken over large portions of Iraq. And apparently the Iraqi military is so dysfunctional, they can't drive them out the country. Iran launched a surprise attack on Israel that came from 4 different directions, and that happened overnight. And they did that to overwhelm the Israeli Iron Dome defense. And apparently they had success with it. I mean, this was one extremely synchronized operational plan. From the north, Hezbollah fired a missile barrage that included missiles and drones. That came from Lebanon. The Houthis in the south fired from Yemen missiles and drones. East Iraq militias, which was PMJ, Hezbollah, Islamic Jihad, they fired missiles and drones. And the west was Iran itself. They were hit from 4 different directions. They ran out of interceptors for a period of time, and the missiles and drones just started coming in at will in different Israeli cities, including Tel Aviv. The attacks were launched simultaneously, and they lasted for 3 hours through the night. They said the Israeli people couldn't go to sleep because all they could hear was bombs and missiles flying overhead, and it scared the hell out of everybody. But that clearly shows that Iran has studied the Iron Dome defense and figured out how to overwhelm it and overcome it. And you can bet the Russians, the Chinese, the North Koreans, they're all seeing that. I mean, the United States has what, 40 or 44 interceptors due to that SALT treaty that we signed that we were allowed to have to stop incoming missiles. You think that they're just going to fire 40 missiles and stop? Or will they overrun our system, firing a bunch of damn missiles at one time, especially with the ones like the Satan II missile that has 12 MIRV warheads on it that can attack 12 cities or put all 12 warheads on one city? That, man, that's going to overwhelm our system. So when Trump's talking about setting up the Golden Dome, I understand we only got 40 missiles to protect us. And then we've got the Arleigh Burke destroyers that have about 77 missiles on them. We got 3 down there in the Gulf of Mexico. We have some others on the East Coast and West Coast. But again, all you got to do is figure out what the armament is and add 44 to it, and then fire 200 or 300, and you overwhelm the system. It's that damn simple. But this clearly shows that Iran, and I think they're being coached by China, because this shows a lot of sophistication. But they pulled off a surprise attack on both our bases and on Israel last night. And Iran said that they've been good negotiations going on, and they were setting up the new ceasefire, and then that's when they launched that surprise attack with that missile barrage. And if I was Trump and them, I wouldn't even talk to these people no more, because they talking out the side of their face. I mean, we know that Ukraine fired on an Iranian vessel that was loaded with drones and artillery rounds that was headed to Russia. And Iran is saying that they're going to have to respond. Now, does Iran have a missile that can reach Europe? Yeah, they got a new missile that will definitely reach Europe. They can even hit Great Britain with it if they chose to. But if they respond, I don't know if I'd want to bring more people in against me, because right now Saudi Arabia looks full-fledged in on this war on the side of the United States, and that might keep that petrodollar going on our behalf. I mean, I looked up today to see how many terror groups that Iran is training, funding, and equipping, And I'm going to tell you too, you like this. You got Hezbollah in Iraq. You have PMJ in Iraq, Islamic Jihad in Iraq. You got the Houthis in Yemen. You got Hezbollah in Lebanon. You got Hamas, Al-Shabaab, which is Somali, Taliban, Al-Qaeda, ISIS. Oops, I done ran out of fingers. And the list
Yep.
still goes on and on. Okay.
Yep.
They've been attacking us since 1979. And apparently, to be equipped and trained by them, it only requires you to be spreading Islam by taking over territory or being willing to kill Americans and kill Israelis. And they will fund you, they will equip you. So, you know, people think that, well, Trump started this thing, the Israelis started. No, this has been going on since 1979, year after year. And now we're finally sick of it. Now we're finally going to do something about it. But the world is suffering. I mean, is this going to be the trigger that's going to trigger the Great Depression of the world? I saw where Japan today has sold off $1 trillion in U.S. Treasury bonds to try to save their money. Their money's about to collapse. China is taking major losses. They can't produce. India is in a hurt locker. Australia is in a hurt locker. South Korea, their two major corporations can't get the oil in that they need for power and energy. They're in trouble. I mean, countries around the world that don't produce oil is already running out. So we either have to win this and end it, because I don't think the world as a whole is going to be able to take this too much longer.
Real quick, Aaron, on that.
Go ahead.
So first, I got to read this super chat. Papa D coming in with the 420 saying, lit evening, no acknowledgement, expected blessings. Well, of course, we acknowledge money. Thank you, Papa D, for that. And now the question I ask to you specifically, Aaron, if I told you a year ago that we were going to work hand in hand with the Saudis against their own people in the region, Iran, what would you have told me?
I would have believed it, because we had the petrodollar going
At the
on,
time, right?
but it was about to expire. Because remember when we did the show and it was that date was coming up.
Yep.
And you know, I was suspicious they was going to jump to the BRIC alliance, which they did. But Iran's part of the BRIC alliance, and Iran's attacking them left and right now, and got their proxies, the Houthis, firing on their ships and stuff, because unlike other countries, the Saudis had a pipeline that they can move that oil from the Strait of Hormuz over to the coast there and bring it down to the Strait of Al-Mendab, or however you pronounce it. It's supposed to be called the Strait of Tears. But with the Houthis sitting there blocking that, then they have to take it north and go up through the Suez Canal. But if they're trying to ship it to Asia or other countries, that's cost preventive for them. And then the Houthis has got the Somali pirates and them coming on board, because of course Iran's going to supply them, because that's Al-Shabaab. They're going to bring them in to help control that strait. So right now we're at a choice. We're damned if we do, we're damned if we don't. If we don't, and Iran takes over the whole damn area, we lose petrodollar. And that's the only thing that's really keeping our money going right now, is that the world is still using our money as the world currency. If we lose that, the Chinese yuan is going to be the new world currency, and the BRIC alliance is going to be just about running the show, and they can slowly choke us out or choke us into submission. And right now, like you said earlier, the Federal Reserve is going to have to make a decision coming up soon. I don't know if it's this week or not.
I think it was supposed to be today.
Okay,
today or tomorrow.
Whether to raise interest rates, lower interest rates, or keep them where they're at. If you lower interest rates right now, inflation is going to be runaway. We're going to see higher costs on everything. If they raise inflation, we're going to see massive layoffs from companies, because the Dow going down 1,153 points, that's over $1 trillion lost today. So when back under Reagan, I was laid off for 3 years when the Dow started losing above 1,000 points, because General Motors was one of the companies that was taking losses. And what's the company going to do when they take losses? They're going to cut down to a skeleton crew. They're not going to keep running fat. They're going to run lean at that point. So if the Federal Reserve raises interest rates, there's going to be layoffs. If they lower interest rates, massive inflation. They keep them at the same, then we're going to still continue to do what they call quantitative easing. The Federal Reserve is constantly going to print excess money, which is going to devalue the value of the dollar, and again, drive prices up. So you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. So seeing that either way you go, it's going to be bad. Fight the wind.
Mm-hmm. You know, Aaron, I was looking up while you was talking about the strategic reserve. So I'm gonna read to you what it says we're at right now.
Okay.
So it says, as of 3 days ago, this reported data for the SPR contains approximately 307 million barrels of crude oil. That is down from 311.4 million last week. So the current is 307.7 million. Maximum storage capacity is 714 million barrels. And we are now sitting at 43% of capacity. It says that a good point to explain is that the SPR is not intended to replace the nation's entire oil supply. It was an emergency reserve designed to cushion major supply stocks. Even though 307 million barrels sounds enormous, the United States consumes roughly 20 million barrels of petroleum per day. And the SPR cannot release all of its oil instantly because of the maximum withdrawal rate that they have. So there's a limit of how much they can withdraw per day. Okay. But you are roughly using 20 million barrels per day that you're using right now. That's what the U.S. average is using per day. So you went from
that doesn't count what we're selling to China or nobody else, right?
So you went from 714 million barrels. Now you're down to 307. So if you pumping out 20 million per day, that's not going to last long at all. And like I said, we do produce a lot of oil. We do have oil companies out here that we do generate a lot of oil, but we also export a lot of that oil. You know what I mean? So they export to the point that you have to borrow from other ones. That's how we pick up another 5 million per day from Canada by itself.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but that's going to be on the strain because you having issues with Canada right now as well. So that may be strained here in the not too distant future. You know what I mean? Now with the stocks, yes, stocks took a big hit. A lot of people's 401ks hit hard.
Mm-hmm.
They lost a lot of that stuff that they had been saving for. So I don't think a lot of people really realize that. But if you go check right now, you're gonna see that you took a whop, a big one.
Yeah.
But another thing that I wanted to say here real quick, because we talk about this stuff and we talk about the back and forth dealing with this. And like you said before, this started back in 79 when we started having issues with Iran. But before 79, yep, when you had the Shah Muhammad there,
mm-hmm,
the U.S. and Iran were actually really good allies.
Yes.
Both economically and militarily.
It looked like Southern California on the beaches over there. It was weird.
Right.
Yeah, girls in thongs and shit. It was awesome.
But then once you had the Iranian Revolution in 79, and then they put the Ayatollah Khomeini in place, then is when you started having those issues. And then shortly after that, like a year later, when they those 52 hostages was taken.
That was same year.
Yeah, and it was like what 444 days that there was.
They didn't release them in 1981. The Islamic Revolution won the war in February of 79. They attacked our consulate, our embassy, in November. So it wasn't even a full year and they were already moving against us.
Mm-hmm. Now, what we have here, now, I'm not talking about the past 40 some odd years. I'm talking about right now.
Right.
Let's talk about right now. Let me ask you this question. If we wouldn't have went over and bombed, will we be going through this right now?
You mean
Now,
if
the reason
we
why
would have got involved in this war kind
right,
of thing?
we would not have got involved with Israel and bombed.
No,
Will
it
we
would
be going through this right now?
no, of course not.
Yeah,
You
we
know,
would.
so there's
Yeah, we would. Because an attack on our money is an attack on this country. And they had made a move on us. China did back in December, and the BRIC Alliance, using Iran as their proxy, made a move on us just recently to take over that strait. That strait was a strategy move to attack the U.S. dollar, change the world currency over to the Chinese yuan, because any ship coming through there had to pay Iran in Chinese yuan. They was not accepting American dollars. You would have saw the end of the dollar dominance. So if you attack our money, that is an attack on the United States. But you guys can decide differently.
No, I
okay.
mean,
Now,
so
wouldn't
money
Saudi
can always.
Arabia also be a part of that as well, though?
Saudi Arabia was the key person because they
Mhm.
are the head of the GCC, basically. Whatever Saudi, I mean, when they set up the petrodollar agreement, it was set up with the Saudis. The Saudis
Correct.
talked to the rest of them, and the rest of them wanted to come on board and wanted us to have military bases there to protect them against Iran and Iraq. But Iraq is no longer a functioning country. They're a failed state, like Libya is. We destroyed them. Now Iran is making their move in history, and this war is going to be historic. It's not going to end no time soon, and it has the potential to plunge the world into a depression. I mean, you got
Yes.
Wells Fargo, you got Chase Bank, you got Bank of America, and there's a fourth one. They're all preparing for an economic collapse of the U.S. dollar in the United States right now.
Correct.
And let me say this. Trump and the United States is weighing and running war game scenarios on ground war. Should there be a ground war? In my opinion, we can handle the skies. Those countries over there are in fear of Iran. If they come together, they can defeat Iran. Let them front the troops. We can front the logistics, the satellites, the missiles. We can control the air, and we can give them air cover, like we was doing that one group in Afghanistan.
Mhm.
We could bomb them out. The Artesh, which is Iran's regular military, they're almost on the verge of giving up now. They don't want to fight, but they're afraid of the IRGC, the fanatics. So that we will have to fight the Artesh, but will they fight as hard? I mean, when we went into Iraq, the Iraqi soldier was more afraid of Saddam than they was us. But next thing you know, they start surrendering in great numbers because I mean, we've had peace through superior firepower for a long time. And when they got to going up with those AKs against our M4s, you can just about shoot a button off of somebody's shirt. An AK is an aerial weapon. It'll hit somewhere in the upper torso, but the accuracy, the communist bloc ammunition is nowhere close. Then you look at the weapon systems that we've got. Everything we have is superior to the communist bloc. All they've got going for them is numbers.
Okay. Now, I agree with you. I agree with what you're saying. And you hold a strong point there.
Totally.
Hold a
He
strong
definitely
point.
does. He definitely
Okay.
does.
Now, hear me out.
Okay.
Now, hear me out. When we was talking about Iran coming in and trying to stop the petrodollar, the only thing that Iran did was capitalize on something that Saudi Arabia had already put out in the forefront. If they would have came through and reissued that treaty to where it was only American dollars that was coming over there, instead of opening it up to where everybody could jump in and use whatever they wanted to use,
Right.
that would have preserved the petrodollar. But they didn't, because they wanted on the back end, they wanted to kind of be cool with the U.S. on this end, but slip around the backside and join the BRIC alliance on the other side.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
that's exactly what they
Play
did.
both sides of the fence. Yeah.
Right. Now this shit done hit the fan. Now they're like, okay, well, we're gonna give you $1 trillion. We're gonna buy this. We're gonna buy this from your defense
True.
company, whatever, because now we need your help. You see what I mean?
Mhm.
Which, frankly, I said this when we did that meeting dealing with the petrodollar, that the U.S. should have pulled their bases then.
True. You did say that. I remember that.
Once you broke this and you said, okay, I'm not dealing with you no more, then you should have pulled yours too and be like, okay, get it how you get it.
Then you ain't getting defense like that.
Right. But we didn't. Now, we got this thing here of a possible ground war. Everybody knows that if you put boots on the ground in Iran, it's going to be a bloodbath. Everybody knows.
It'd be terrible. It would be terrible.
You know, now, the aerial assault, yes. Will it cause damage? Yes. But you got to be strategic in that, because you're not just going through just carpet bombing. That's what you're not doing. You know what I mean? The only way that you're going to be able to get this strategically, if you just using air, is that you got to know where all these people are to be able to pop them out one at a time. Just like how they did during the Persian Gulf when they had the little cards. Remember the cards they put out with who all they were looking for? But this is the thing. You don't know who all you looking for here, because all the people that you knew that was in charge, you already got rid of them. These are other people that you don't even halfway know who all these people are. You know what I mean? So now you wanted a gun. You know what I mean? And when you think about the number of people that they got at the beginning of this, there's basically all the like all your presidential staff, which equivalent to all your presidential staff, your Congress, your House, what you took out the first day, equivalently. Okay. Now you got all these other people, because what they did was they set up this structure that you could take out the top and everything else will still run. You know what I mean? So you got individual people that's out there doing this stuff. You know what I mean? Now you may have the president here, and then you got the Ayatollah, which we don't know what you don't know what he is. You know what I mean? You don't even know whether this man is even still alive. You don't even know. You just hear
he could be an amputee like me, you know.
Right.
That's what
you just see a couple little things where he done wrote down something. You ain't even seen this dude's face. You know what I mean? You don't even know whether or not he's still alive or not. But you have these individual fractions that's going around.
It's like 35 of them. Yes.
They're calling the shots. The way they had this primarily structured dealing with Hezbollah and the Houthis was that they were able to, if need be, to control the whole Gulf region based off of these allies that they had posted up in these different locations. Okay. Now, here's the part that a lot of people really don't want to admit on both sides. We can't claim to be the victim on this when we the ones that started this shit. So we can't say, okay, you know, they're doing this, and this, they're bombing here, they're bombing here, they're bombing here. Why come ain't nobody else ever bomb them? Because they knew what they were going to do. That's why they left them alone all these years. Like, they talk shit to each other. They drop sanctions on them and stuff like that, but they ain't never come at them no other kind of way, because they knew what they was going to be up against.
That was their threat from day one. That was their threat from day one. You ever mess with us, we got this shut down.
Right.
Yeah.
Now you got a situation where you really can't just walk away, because if you just walk away, you lost. If you carpet bomb them, you lost. Either way it goes, it's a damn if you do, damn if you don't situation. There is no actual middle there. You know what I mean? If you went along with that 60-day MOU, you would have lost, because they would have took out tolls. They would have basically controlled the strait. You gave them their sovereignty to where they can run and do whatever they want to do. You don't want to do that, because that's basically a smack in the mouth. You don't want to do that. But you don't want to go and kill them all either. So you're going to have to figure out something. You got to do one or the other. But you can't do both.
Well, Trump heard. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I was going to say Trump heard him this week, because he put new sanctions on. He seized some of their money. And that's the one time I saw the IRGC react to where they got caught off guard. They had our response times down. They had everything down. I mean, that's why I said this showed mastermind thinking, because they knew what we would do every time, and then they would just raise the ante, and then they knew our response on that automatically. What they didn't have was the fact that we was going to seize some more of their money, and that's when the IRGC said, "Wait a minute now," and he said that you attack our bases anymore, we're going to use that money to repair those bases with and help repair the countries that you're shooting at. And then the IRGC was like, "Oh, wait a minute now, you can't be spending our money." Well, it's too late. We done took it. What are you going to do about it?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the best way to hurt a man is in his pocket. They was trying to hurt us money-wise, attacking the U.S. dollar like they did. Now we're seizing their money, and now we got the RGC's attention. They was going to slug it out with us. But when you start taking their money, man, that was a totally different matter that I could tell they wasn't ready for. They hadn't thought that one out.
Mm-hmm. You know, I just seen somebody post as to what I thought my solution was. I'm gonna tell you what I think my solution is. The whole world is suffering because of the Strait.
Yes.
Right? They shut down the Strait. They shut down the Red Sea. You fucked. You ain't getting nothing in and out of there. Nothing. Okay? But everybody's standing around watching to see what's happening next. You see what I mean? Now, like I said, it's Israel and the U.S. Israel ain't they ain't sending nobody over either.
No. Mm-mm.
So here's the thing. You can actually threaten to walk away from all of it. You could. Does the U.S. pump enough oil to deal with the U.S.? Absolutely. They can. They don't need it. They can pull from Venezuela, put it in a refinery, mix your own to it, slim it down, and be able to use it. Could you do that? Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
Being the fact that you have all these other countries that's sitting back, don't want to be involved, don't want to say nothing because they don't want to piss nobody off, and they making side deals with Iran on the back end. So this is what you do. Walk away. And if we walk away, then whatever the fuck happens over here, happens over here. You run out of oil, tough shit. You run out. You know what I mean? You got to put people in a situation to where they have to be accountable for their own shit. These other countries have to be accountable just like they are. Mind you, were they involved in it when it happened? No. But is it detrimental to them now? Absolutely.
Yeah.
So you either going to join in and we fix this, or I'll walk away altogether and you do what you do. But they're not going to go through. I mean, like I said, even if you told Saudi and Qatar and all them to sit, they're not going to send no troops there. They're not sending no troops there. You know what I mean? Now, do I think that it could actually become something like that? If it keeps going like it's going, it's going to, because they keep taking cheap shots. Like this is supposed to be right now. We're not supposed to be firing on anything, but then you just turn around and hit this tanker. I mean, now you're threatening to hit Ukraine because Ukraine hit your ship that's going over to Russia because you're trying to supply them with stuff. You see what I mean? So it's going to end up escalating. It's not going to be a peaceful situation. This is not going to be a peaceful. We're just going to agree to something and everybody just going to part ways and walk off. It's not what's going to happen. It's going to get bloody. That's a guarantee. The only question that you ask yourself is when it's going to happen.
So is that ultimately what you see going down Trump's route right now, is troops on the ground?
I see that well, we can both answer. I see that there has to be an ultimatum made to everyone. Now, they just had a G7. They just had NATO. They about to have a UN summit here next month. That needs to be told. Either y'all come in and help and we get this straightened out, or I'm gonna walk away. Y'all pay, I don't give a fuck if they charge you $20 million. I'm gonna walk the fuck away. And you deal with it how you deal with it. Get it how you live. You gotta put them You have to put these other countries where they have to hold some kind of accountability to what they're getting out the deal. So it can't just be the U.S. over here bombing, boom, 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 and then okay, the Strait open, and now everybody's sending their ships over to get stuff, but nobody wants to do nothing on the back end. That's a one-sided situation. You know what I mean? The U.S. shouldn't even got involved in that, knowing that it was going to be a one-sided situation. You knew that these other countries wasn't going to be involved. That's why you didn't go to them in the first place, because you knew they were going to say no. But now you got yourself in a conundrum. You have to do something, and either way it goes, you're going to lose. You're going to lose something. You can't go into this free and clear, straight open, no problem, and then leave it the same way that you came. Not going to happen.
And I'm going to answer. Qatar this past week shut down the largest LNG, liquid natural gas field in the world. I think it supplies 30 or 35% LNG to the world. A large body of it comes from Russia. Where does it go? It goes to Europe, wintertime heating. And without the LNG, none of the European countries are going to be able to heat their homes this coming winter. And winter ain't that damn far down the road. If these countries are trying to live without oil right now, without jet fuel, they're rationing diesel. Imagine going through winter and you don't have proper fuel to be able to heat your home or cook on them gas stoves that they've got over there. That's going to make life hard and almost unbearable. These countries, Europe is going to have to get involved. The world itself is going to have to get involved and open that damn strait up and put Iran in the corner on timeout somewhere, or they're going to have to defeat them. The GCC is going to have to put troops on the ground. You got the Kurds ready to come out of the mountains of Iraq to invade Iran on the north. All you need is a force along that coast to hit where those missiles are coming out of to hit the strait. And then if you got a force there, Iran announced this past week, if we invade them, they're going to invade Kuwait. Kuwait's the least powerful nation over there. They can't hold nothing. Anybody wants to come in there and roll them over, they can do it. So they've already moved troops up close to the border with Kuwait. So if we start to come into their country, they're going straight into Kuwait. And the rest of the GCC that's been afraid of Iran, they need to put troops together. Europe needs to put troops together. Anybody that's getting oil that's not receiving it, like South Korea, and before anybody says anything, I'm going to remind you, North Korea sent troops to Ukraine. They need to go in there and roll over them bastards in a couple weeks, like we did Iraq. But we had to go in twice on Iraq because they didn't finish the job the first time. We need to go in there, finish the damn job, and end this damn ridiculousness, or we're going to be held for ransom for the rest of our lives. So, but like you said, the United States isn't pressed, but these other nations that don't produce it, they are. Japan, all of them, they better wake up. Because like you said, if we walk away, the whole world is held at ransom by the BRIC Alliance. And I don't think they want to live under that tyranny. China's going to expand. We're going to have to fight them next year. They're still saying they're going to retake Taiwan next year. So we got to end this shit. We got to win in it, get it ended, and be ready. They got GM and Chrysler and Ford trying to build weapons right now. They asked for 2 or 3 other corporations to start building weapons. China is going to be an MF to try to deal with them because they got large numbers.
Big time. Yes, I do.
So, and then we're fighting them on home turf. They got home turf advantage. That's going to be them. And our economy, can we take it? We're already bankrupt. Trump is experimenting with the idea of stable coin and Trump coin to try to spin our debt off into digital currency so that we can continue to move on. I mean, we've had economic resets, like back in, what year was it? Under Reagan, they had to do a reset, 71, 72, when the petrodollar agreement went into effect. Our money was going bankrupt then. We had to do a reset then. So people don't, and then God, it was, I think it was 2009 to 11 when Bush was going out and Obama was coming in. Our money collapsed then. Our stock market was lower than it's ever been. I think it got down to 6,000 points.
Yeah, that was 2007, 2008. Yeah.
Right. We had to do an economic reset then.
Yep.
They keep coming up with these mathematical formulas to make the money come out right. But then
That was
we
the
end
housing
up,
bubble.
yeah, we end up going back into what we came out of anyway. We can't stop the spending. I mean, if I file bankruptcy and I free up some money and then I keep spending, I'm digging a bottomless pit. And I'm never going to come out of it. I can only borrow so much money before I hit a brick wall and nobody's going to loan me no more money. And that's what the United States is almost faced with right now. Japan can't buy no more debt. They're selling off our debt. China's not trying to buy because they want our money to collapse. And some of the other countries are having problems right now. I'm telling you, these banks are getting ready for an economic collapse in the United States, and Americans better wake up and start stockpiling money, because if you don't, you're not going to weather the storm that's coming. And I'll stop there.
Well, you may want to stockpile on metals like gold,
Yes,
silver,
sir.
like
Yes,
that.
sir.
Because your money
Yes, sir.
Right now
ain't
is
gonna
the
be what the
perfect
paper
time to
is
buy
printed
right
on.
now. Perfect time to buy right this second. So just wanted to say that this is the buy the dips. Everyone's like worried about the price. Don't worry about this shit. Buy it now. You know, that's my opinion.
Right. I agree. I agree.
I mean, and then too, you also got to realize that even with the oil shortages and all that, the prices haven't caught up to the conflict yet.
Right.
Totally.
So that's
Well, metals is not reacting at all to
right.
it. It's acting like 20 years from now. That's how it's acting.
Yeah. Now that stuff is going to escalate, and it's going to. I mean, if we had this conversation another, this time next year, if this keeps on going, what's going, I mean, it's going to be astronomically different. You know what I mean? With the crypto, yes, he did jump in and start doing a lot of crypto, but then you seen reports to where, yeah, Trump made a lot of money off them coins, but the people that invested ass, because they just as soon as it went up, it shot down.
Yeah, crap.
So it made their money doing that little climb, and if you wasn't paying attention and watching,
no, they sold without you. Even if you thought you knew, you didn't know. That's how it works.
Right. You ain't get shit. So, yep. so you made everybody else money, and you didn't walk away with it.
Sounds like every crypto scam in the world, right there.
Exactly. I mean, when you jump on them, that's why you got to watch them. You got to watch it and let it bull run to where it's going. And once you see it peaking and it's getting ready to drop, sell it out. Because if not, you're gonna lose your ass. You know what I mean? And don't put money in there that that's gonna hurt you if you lost it. Because you've seen people drop big money on this stuff simply because it was a Trump coin or global energy coin or all, you know what I mean? Like I looked through all these different ones because I invest in crypto. So I looked at all these and I'll sit there and watch them. Watch how it shot up and then boom, crash.
Yep.
Next
the way people invest,
up, boom, crash.
The way that people invest is something that I am always fascinated with, because people invest in different things, and no, I'm not going to be telling anybody what to invest in because that's not my job to do so. But everyone has their own ideology on investing, right? And I just look at it from a different point of view, I guess, because I wouldn't, like, I have never invested in crypto, and I would never, right? Like, this is my ideology working, right? Like, I look to be a business owner, not a, like, hey, I can get this on the low, sell it at, a couple few cents, say it goes up, then I can sell, whatever. I'm not looking to do like any of those things, or even the medium, level stuff. I'm looking for longevity. Because all I understand with money and how it makes money is it takes time, and that's compounding interest. And so all I care about is the longevity. Like 40 years from now, is that company still going to be making money? The answer in my investments is yes. because I'm trying to keep that shit in there for 40, 50, 60 years, right? So I just look at investing a total different mindset. And you're right, AB. A lot of people invest off of emotion, and a lot of people invest a lot of money off of just what somebody's saying. And it's like, listen, man, I got to look at your quarterlies. I got to make sure I'm looking through your numbers. Like I'm not based off of you just saying invest in me. Am I going to invest in you? Of course not. Right?
Mm-hmm. And that's where social media plays such a big part, because somebody will make a post and be like, "Hey, did y'all hear? Trump getting ready to start a coin. It's gonna be
Right.
this. It's gonna start out of here." And you go on there and you see it, and they talk about, well, it's gonna climb. It's gonna be $15-$20 is estimated to be. Blah, blah, blah. Right now, it's sitting under a penny. What do? Drop all their money into it. I mean, it was this one lady that I seen on there. She dropped 40 grand on this coin and lost every dime of it because she wasn't watching it. You know what I mean? When you dealing with crypto, if you're not dealing with like Bitcoin, Ethereum, you know what I mean, like the major coins, XRP, stuff like that, the major
Sure.
coins out there, and you just picking up these little ones, that's what they are. They're money grabs. You catch it low,
Yep.
watch it bull run up, and it crashes. You know what I mean? So you have
Totally.
to be on it constantly, or you're gonna lose. You know what I mean? And that's what, like, a lot of people do it thinking that it's easier than the actual stock market. I can double, triple my money quick if I do this. You can if you're watching it. You know what I mean? Which means you sitting there all day, sitting here watching it, waiting to see what it's going to do. And as soon as you turn it off and walk off for about 5-6 hours and shit and come back, you're going to see it here. Now you're trying to hurry up and sell that shit to get some of your money back. You know what I mean? Because losing. You know what I mean? But it's going to be, when you think about all this stuff, we're sitting at almost $40 trillion in national debt.
Mm-hmm.
That is never going to get paid. Never. Even when they're talking about, but we got 19 trillion in tariffs. Okay, where that money at? Why didn't you pay this? Why don't you take 19 trillion off this 40?
Yeah, zero goes into national debt.
Right. And they steady spending. They're steady spending. They went from quantitative tightening at the beginning of the year right back to easing. So they just printing money, which is dropping the actual value of it.
Of course.
Steady spending. This 40 is steady rising. So when you in a situation that you know that you're 40 trillion in debt and you know you're not going to pay it, it's never going to get paid. What happens? Reset. So you cancel this out, which brings on the CBDC, fresh start, government ran, where they control everything and control how you going to get your money, what you spending your money on, and everything. Like, well, kind of weird, because I didn't put you in $40 trillion worth of debt. So how can you tell me how I spend my money when obviously you don't know how to spend yours? That's the problem that we got here. You know what I mean? And it's going to get like what we're looking at right now is going to get worse. Just prepare for it, because it's getting ready to happen. Because it hasn't caught up.
Let me add to what you just said. And this is what fascinates me, okay? And you guys might feel differently, but you hear them constantly say that we're going to cut spending in Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security's running out of money. All right. I could accept that. But then how come foreign aid never runs out of money? You're going to tell me that Social Security might only last 10 more years, but you're constantly giving millions and billions of dollars away in foreign aid? Make that make sense. And that kind of pisses me off. But I'm going to stop there.
Mm-hmm.
Shit.
You know, since you got all those geniuses up there that's supposed to be, controlling this money or whatever, then why come they never actually put Social Security in a fund to where it was actually making money as is putting it out? Not just, whatever you work for this week, goes into this, and then it pays somebody on the other end. Why was it never actually put into a fund to where it was constantly shooting stuff? You know what I mean? Just like you would do, like an IRA or stocks or whatever. You know what I mean? It's constantly making compounded interest on top of it to be able to, how do you put it? To be self-sufficient, the word I'm looking for, to where it could constantly go instead of a weekly thing. Weekly, this money goes here and it goes right back out the end of the month. You know what I mean? Why come nobody thought of that? Out of all these years that Social Security has been in existence, nobody never thought, okay, let's set up something to where it will constantly gain interest and be able to be self-sufficient. You would never have to worry about having to put
You're asking the
so much
government
money
to be
into it because
self-sufficient?
it would eventually rejuvenate itself.
You're asking the government to be self-sufficient.
That's the whole thing. I mean, shit. I mean, you don't got to be the smartest person in the world. Just have this much common sense. You know what I mean? If it's supposed to be structured for longevity, you know what I mean? So my thing is, if it's not going to be around for the time for me to collect it, then I shouldn't have to pay it. Why am I giving you my money if I'm never going to get it? You see what I'm saying? Like that's redundant to me. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, I'm giving you my money that I'm never going to be able to receive when I get that age because it's going to be gone. You know what I mean? Why not just set that up on an actual program to where it would rejuvenate itself constantly? You know what I mean? So I don't know. Like I said, I'm not, I don't think it has to be the smartest person in the world. You know what I mean? But at the beginning of this new Trump thing here, I'm not even going to call the administration, this thing, this mockery that we got going on here. It was said, America first. America first. What happened to that? What happened to that?
Yeah, I agree.
I don't see nothing that's going on right now that's dealing with America first. I see a lot of money going out, but I don't see no money coming into our house. You know what I mean? Now, I'm not getting nothing off of this. You ain't getting nothing off of this, but we're going to pay for it. That we give. We work every day. We pay taxes. We pay this. We pay this. We pay this. And what do you get out of it? Zero. We're going to get high inflation. We're going to get high gas prices. We're going to get high food prices. Rent's going to go up. Everything is going to go up except what you're making at your job. That's going to stay here. And they're going to keep on spending money, keep spending money. We're not the ones that decide that. You know what I mean? So you kind of in, like you said before, Aaron, damn if you do, damn if you do, damn if you don't situation.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? The only thing that matters now is whether you, your family, whatever, prepare yourself for what's getting ready to come. Because if you're sitting here right now thinking that this is not going to happen, then you're sadly mistaken. Sadly mistaken. Go ahead, Aaron. I think you had something you was going to say there, bro.
Oh, no, I was ready to do my segment whenever you guys was ready to hit it.
No, it's perfect. We're in overtime tonight, baby. We're in overtime. So here we go. Bring it up, Aaron. What are you presenting tonight?
What I'd like to talk about today are MREs. MRE stands for Meals Ready to Eat. Okay. Soldiers, it was found that on the war front, soldiers had to be able to march 10 to 25 miles and have the energy to fight a pitched battle once they got to the location. So when you hear them say that a military or army travels on its stomach, there's a lot of truth to that. And basically, if the food doesn't taste good, the soldier's not going to eat it, which means his nutrition goes down, his awareness goes down, his sharpness of mind goes down when that nutrition goes down, his energy levels go down. So proper nutrition, proper caloric intake, all that has a major thing to do with it. So they came out with what they call MREs, meals ready to eat. Now, the meals themselves come in a big pack. This is a pack that'd be about $17 by Star. This is by MRE World. This is about $4 a pack. I tested these. If they go into water, if you're in a flood zone or something, they go into water, these will float. This packaging is watertight. It has air in it so that they will float. So I did test that. But it comes down to you get what you pay for. I'm going to say this. No one's paying me to do this. I'm going to give a fair analysis based upon my age, my health requirements, and what my body will tolerate or don't tolerate. Because certain spicy foods and stuff, my body just doesn't tolerate no more. So with the MREs, you'll get, this is an MRE heater. And you see this double line right here? You pour about 1 inch of water in there up to that line. You don't want to go above the line. You want to stay at that line. You will take your MRE out. That's your main entree. And you stick it down inside the bag and you fold the lid over. And you can stick everything down into the cardboard, or you can just lean it up against a tree or whatever. And this will cook your food. It will heat your food up to where it's piping hot. You'll have steam coming off of it, everything. I experimented with it. I put 1 entree in it. I let it heat up to where it's piping hot. I took it out, and then I put another one in. The other one got warm. It was warmer than lukewarm. It was warm, but it wasn't steam coming off of it. So you could actually get away with 2. But these do not come in, all of them. In the Star brand, these don't come in there. In the MRE World brand, each one has one in it. Now, your advantages, well, let me say this. Your body needs 1,000 calories a day minimum for your organs to be able to still function. That's the reason why shows like Naked and Afraid, they only went 21 days. Because if those people were getting under 1,000 a day, sooner or later, their kidneys, they'd get brain fog, their liver, something would start to fail. So they would only let them go 21 days on that show. And that was the reason for the 21 days, because by the rule of 3, you can survive 3 minutes without air. You can survive 3 days. No, you can survive 3 hours in severe weather without heat or warmth for shelter. You can survive 3 days without water, 3 weeks without food. So even in the rule of 3, it's 3 weeks that your body can go. You need 1,000 calories a day. The MREs have 1,200 to 1,500 calories depending upon what the meal is. So you're getting more than that. Now, a man needs 2,500 to 3,000 calories a day to maintain his body weight. And that's if he's not overly active. A woman is going to need between 2,000 to 2,400 calories. And that's if she's not overly active. Now, if she's out running marathons or something, that caloric intake is going to have to be much higher. But average day, you can get by on 2 of these a day and get at least 24 to almost 3,000 calories a day on just 2 meals. Now, if you're in a situation where you can eat 3 a day, great. But let me show you what's inside of one. Now, this one here is a bean and chili inside a Mylar wrap. That's your entree. And this actually looks like chili. I've gotten it out. I've eaten them. And this is a vegetarian chili. And I've had it. It tastes good. It just doesn't have a bunch of meat in it. Now, you got spices around your house. You can add that to it. And you can spice it up a bit if you want.
Quick question on that.
Go ahead.
So Charles in the chat is saying, are these 24-hour MREs or are those just single meals?
These are individual meals. Each box is going to come with 12 meals in it. You get 2 of each type. They might have vegetarian chili, cheese tortellini. They got this one beef, Tuscan beef, and it tastes like Dentimore beef stew. And I'm talking the Star brand. The MRE World, I'm not as happy with those, and I'm gonna come to that in a minute. But you're going to get 5 to 10 year shelf life if you keep them in a cool, dark, dry place.
Nice.
So you got good shelf life on them. And that would allow you not to have to consume the food. Another advantage with them is that you might have a canned food item where each pack comes with a complete meal and accessories. Uh, they can be eaten cold. I don't know if you guys know that or not, but you don't have to heat them up. They're already cooked. You can eat them cold if you have to. So if lighting a fire would prevent you from would allow you to be observed or noticed, you don't have to light a fire. And with the MRE heaters, you don't need a fire anyway. So, and then they're very portable. You can throw these into a bug out bag. You can throw a case of or two of them into the trunk of your car. So they're super portable. Now they do weigh more than freeze dried food, but with freeze dried food, you need water to rehydrate it. Where with these, they're already hydrated. You just open up the pack and start spooning them out. Let me see. Now, like I said, they're in a watertight thing. Now, the easy cleanup on them, I don't have to dirty up pots and pans or dishes or whatever. After I eat the MRE, everything goes in the trash. So it's super easy cleanup. Now, like I said, you'll have your main entree. For your dessert, you have a shortbread cookie. And what I'm showing is the MRE Star brand. If it's hot summer, you have a beverage mix. Now this one is a lemonade. You got pink lemonade, you've got punch, you got grape drink, you got orange drink. You just take a bottle of water, tear it open, pour it in, shake it up. And this has your electrolytes and stuff in it. And it tastes pretty good. I've had it. Next item that's in this meal, and this is peanut butter. And of course, if you got peanut butter, you got crackers. So you can put the peanut butter with the crackers, something to give you quick energy, give you some protein, but you can also use the crackers. You get two big saltine type crackers in this, and you could use with your bean chili. Another thing for energy, this is nut raisin mix. This is your trail mix. Now, some of them don't have the trail mix. They either have corn nuts or they have freeze-dried fruit. And freeze-dried fruit tastes like candy. I mean, it's really good. Corn nuts are kind of hard for my teeth, but again, you have this. So if you don't have time to eat the main entree, you can switch this down for quick energy. Also comes with a thing of coffee. Now, what I found with this coffee is I would only recommend a half a cup of water, because a whole cup of water is kind of weak, but a half a cup of water, it's a little bit stronger. With your coffee, you'll get one creamer, and you get a pack of sugar. Then on top of that, you have salt and pepper. And this is chili flakes that you can put into your chili if you want it a little bit hotter, spicy. You also have some candy for dessert.
Are those Smarties? It's awesome.
Yeah. Then you have your spoon, and this is a long handle spoon. So let me show the example. So if I tear it open at the top and I'm dipping down in, if I got a short spoon, I'm getting food and stuff all over my knuckles. This is an extra long spoon that can get all the way down there to the bottom, and I'm still okay, as you can see. I'm not getting a bunch of food all over my hands. It has a napkin, a moist towelette for cleanup, and also has a toothpick. And as you can see, everything is together. Now you can stock cans. Cans are heavy, or you can go with MREs because it's got all the ingredients you need for a complete meal. Now, the negative I have is this brand by MRE World. When you look at their advertisement, it's coming in a package this color. Instead, they asked me a question, And the question was, are you going to eat these right now or are you using them for later? I said, I'm using them for disaster preparedness, which means later. I got sent these. I was not happy with them. I only tried one. And
Was it gross?
And it was the pork rice sauce.
Oh shit.
And
I see the smirk in on your face right now already.
this is your entree, again, in a MRE. But if I cut this open, and I think I might do that. I didn't eat everything.
No, don't do it. Don't do it.
Okay. It's almost a solid block. And then I use this apple banana mix in my bottled water, and it turned the water almost like a thick milk.
Oh, God.
Okay. And then you can see how short the spoon is. I was able to eat 4 bites of this. And again, I'm 60, I'll be 68 years old this year. 4 small bites. It's like a solid block in there. And I tried to drink that drink.
A block
mix.
of pork.
I could cut this and lift the whole thing out. It looks like someone took rice and a small piece of pork and kind of blended it together and then slightly dehydrated it and put it in here because it's all one piece. The chili with this is actually chili inside there. This is solid. It's almost like a fig bar or something. I don't want to say without the breading around it, but I mean, I could lift it out and eat it.
Oh,
now
so go for the shelf life of the ones that are like 5 years.
Well, all of them are 5 to 10. All of them are 5 to 10.
What is that one in your hand though?
But this is the MRE World brand. And again,
and
I'm old.
What's the shelf life on that?
5 to 10.
Oh, okay. So it's the same. So it's terrible product.
Now it has the MRE heater comes with it where the Star brand doesn't. But I'm going to tell you, when I ate this for 2 hours after I ate it, my stomach rolled around like somebody took a wildcat and put a bag over its head and stuck it in my stomach and turned it loose.
Oh shit! Bruh.
I'm glad nobody was around me because I could hear my stomach rolling. Okay. Now you hear people say, if you get hungry enough, you'll eat anything.
Oh, hell no.
If I'm going to eat something and it's going to give me, and I'm not going to say this would, but if it's going to give me diarrhea or make me throw up, that's going to dehydrate me.
You'd rather eat your couch.
Okay. That for me is going to be trading material. Now, again, $4 for a meal. Where can you go eat for $4? Or $17.
Right.
Okay. This is a situation now. MRE World does offer a money back guarantee. Now, what I don't know is these boxes weigh 12.8 pounds a piece. I mean, you got 25, almost 30 pounds in your hand if you had to ship them back. I don't know who pays for that shipping. The 2 boxes together ran me probably $108 with shipping.
Oh, that's pretty damn decent.
Now, if it's gonna run me, and that's for 24 meals, so that's a steal, and that's what made me buy it. But you know, everything that I just presented in their ad that you see is in their ad. But when I looked inside their packets, I didn't see some of that stuff. And some of the brands that they say, well, you get the pizza and you get the burger. Oh. I didn't see none of that in the
you didn't get it. You didn't get any of it.
These 2 boxes.
Interesting.
And you know, when they offered the 30 days, seeing that I was buying them long term, I waited almost 2 years. I tried one, and if there's 30 days was still going, I'd be shipping it back. But to get my money back. But then if it's going to cost me $30 to $50 to ship it back, is it worth shipping back?
Yeah, is it even worth it? Of course not, right? So
it's going to be trade and barter material for me. If some people come here armed up and I don't want to expose my people to gunfire, I'm gonna say, well, look, I got 4 boxes left, the MREs. I'll give you 2 of them. They're gonna get these. And after their stomach rolls around for a couple hours, they won't come back and ask me for anything.
Yeah, they're not coming back.
So that's gonna be trade and barter goods for me.
That's a good plan.
You know, when someone offers you 30 days money back, they're wanting to take your product back. You know, I've been doing this for so long, I almost consider myself professional at prepping. I should have checked it. That was my fault that I did. The $4 and what I saw in the picture in the photo with the not the Smarties, but the Twizzlers, and they had some packets that had Skittles in them, and I saw different things. That's what I
Wow.
thought I was getting.
Oh, wow. That's
But
crazy.
I didn't get that.
So you just got the normal.
And I'm not
meals.
telling people not to buy them.
No, no. You're just being
$4,
transparent.
if this is within your budget and you're younger than me to where your body can tolerate different types of food, then $4, you can't get that deal nowhere. But
True.
for me, I just can't do it. So I would just say, anytime a company offers you a money back guarantee, check it. Because if you're not going to eat it, your health is going to go down. And in a disaster situation, nutrition is key. That's your fuel for your body. Don't skimp on it. And I'll stop there.
All right. So one
Please.
thing I wanted to say on this was, Christy says anyone watching this won't be asking Aaron for any MREs. That's hilarious. But you know, he does have the good brand, which he was presenting right there. That he's got the box on the table right there. Those are the good ones. Those are the ones that you should buy, right? Not the brick ones that just gross. But anyways, listen, we can't thank each and every single one of you guys enough. Obviously, we can't do this without you guys. So thank you guys for your support, hitting that like button, double tapping that screen if you're on the vertical side. And listen, we'll be back here in 7 days for another crazy story, man. So both Aaron and Archbishop, I can't thank you guys enough for doing what you guys do. It's awesome to be a part of it, and always appreciate you guys in the chat. So listen, we'll be back here very soon. Much love, honor, respect to everybody, and God bless.